So many people are self-publishing these days, so it must be easy, right? Just write a draft, send it off to Amazon, publish that sucker, and rake in the dough. If only it was that simple. Today's video talks about just how many drafts of a manuscript you should plan to write before it's time to publish that bad boy. Hi, I'm Jodi Brandon of Jodi Brandon Editorial. I'm a book writing coach and book editor for creative entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and bloggers who want to write a book or ebook and scale their business. Today we're talking about just how many book drafts do you need. It's not as simple as just writing a manuscript, sending it off, and getting it published. Although there are people, don't get me wrong, on Amazon who are doing that, but they're not the people who are doing it the right way. I would say at least 3 drafts minimum. There's no real set number, but think of it this way. Your first draft is going to be blah, right? It's supposed to be. It's word vomit. That's what a first draft is. So you get it all down, give yourself a little break, come back to it and revise it. Now you've got draft number 2. That's the draft that you're going to send to beta readers to get some feedback. You know, are your topics fleshed out? Are things in the right order? The same sorts of things that you can work with a developmental editor or book coach on, but you're also sending it out to people, your would-be readers, to get, real live, on-time feedback that can help you strengthen the manuscript before it's published. So you're going to send that off to the beta readers, then you're going to get those answers back, incorporate that feedback, whatever of it you choose to, and then you're going to revise again. And then you've got a third draft of that manuscript. And at that point, you might think it's strong enough, you might think you need to do another round of revision or maybe even another round of beta testing. And then it goes off to an editor. So it's really a little bit more complicated than just, sit down, bang out 40,000 words, send it off to Amazon, click upload, and call it a day. So let's talk about a couple ways that you can make this process easier. Number 1, do some pre-planning. If you do a brain dump or an outline before you start writing, the writing process will go much smoother and probably quicker. So that's step number 1. Number 2, do all of your research beforehand, as much as you can. There might be people that you want to talk to about your book and interview them. There may be books that will be helpful if you read them before you start writing. As much of that prep work that you can do in advance before you actually sit down and start writing, the writing process will go smoother and quicker because at that point you're just writing. You're not using your brain for other things, like research uses this part of your brain, editing uses this part, writing uses this part. You're just focused on the writing, and that's what you want to do. So how long does it take? Again, I wish there was a set answer, but it really just depends. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on how fast you write. It depends on how much of your research is done. If you have to stop and go check your notes every time you sit down and start writing, you're not going to be able to build up any momentum. It also depends on how fast you write. Can you write 1,000 words in a writing session? Can you write 3,000 words in a writing session? Can you write 500 words in a writing session? I advise my clients to figure out how many words they can comfortably write in a writing session before they start to lose steam and want to bang their head against the desk, because that's not what anybody wants, right? Figure out how many words that is, and then figure out roughly how long you think your book is going to be, which is a topic for another video, and then figure out how many writing sessions you're going to need to reach that word count. And that's how you figure out how long it's going to take. Probably, if you're writing every day, in the neighborhood of every day, meaning 5 days a week, I'm assuming taking off the weekends. Probably 2 months, 3 months, if you can write about 1,000 words a day. You might want to try and do 5,000 words on the weekends only, in which case probably, let's say 10 weekends then. If you're doing if you're doing 5,000 words in one weekend over 2 days. So then 10 sessions is 50,000 words, which is about the average. So it really depends on a few factors there. I have a worksheet that you can check out below, I'll link it below, about your ideal writing session, how many words it is, and all of that to sort of help you get started. I consider that part of the prep work for writing a book. And so then you do that, you do your research, you start practicing writing so you get in the habit of doing it. And before you know it, you're gonna have your outline done, you're gonna have that first draft done, you're gonna hate it because that's what happens when you write a first draft, but then it gets better and better, and then it becomes, with revision and beta feedback and an editor's help, it becomes something that you can be really proud of putting on Amazon, not like some of these other people who are like, hey, I'm gonna write a book, and then the next day they have a 99-cent book on Amazon. That's not what you're doing here, right? So again, I would suggest a minimum of 3 drafts, even though, you know, there's no checkbox when you're publishing a book on Amazon to make sure that you did your due diligence. So it's really up to you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I would be happy to answer them. I hope that you found this video useful. If you did, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and until next time.